Coach from the Bossman show, close friend of mine, a great guy, former coach at Winthrop. He was a Georgia Southern down there in Statesboro. He was a Tennessee State alma mater. Then he's at TLTSU, Texas Southern with Johnny Jones. Coach Randy Peele. Coach Peele, good to talk to you finally on the show, man. Good to see you, buddy.
Bossman, how you doing, bud? You doing good, man.
Oh,
Got
yeah.
that, I see it.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
You're a legend. You're a legend up in there, man.
Yes, indeed. Repping the Atlanta Hawks as always. Coach, I tell you. Hey, Coach, I know it's been a while since we've seen each other, man, but I tell you, man, I've been keeping up with you. I'm glad you got through your health issue, man. I was praying for you then, and I'm happy you with Johnny Jones, a great guy. I had him on the show, man. Oh. You're helping out that program a lot, man. I see you from afar doing big things, Coach.
Well, I appreciate it. Coach Jones is great. Like, when you measure people, he's at the top shelf. You know, he's a great person. He's a great coach. And, you know, he's blessed. My wife thinks the world of him. And I'm just really, really blessed. And, you know, when the chips are down, you know what I'm saying? And you find out who's in your corner. And he's been in my corner like you can't believe. So I'm very fortunate for sure.
And Coach, I know for you, man, you was a head coach at Winthrop for a while. You see Greensboro for a while, man. I tell you, in your career, when did you know you was going to become a head coach, Coach? I know when you get into the business, you want to aspire to be a head coach, but when did you know that was your path to be a head coach and just coach ball for your whole career, man?
Yeah. Wow. I knew I wanted to be a college coach the first day I started teaching in high school. So, you know, I was an AD when I was 22 years old in high school. I was an athletic director and a head basketball coach at 22. That's a lot of responsibility. But I knew then, like, I love those kids in my classroom and on the floor. But now when you walk into a classroom as an educator in Atlanta, I don't care where you are, you better have your game on. And you better be prepared because those kids need you. And what people have no idea is they have no idea how hard those teachers work outside that classroom. I was doing that. I was teaching 5 classes, AD and head basketball coach at 22 years old. My head was spinning, okay? So, but I was like, you know what? I knew, like, eventually I got to try to get to college. You know, the part about becoming a head coach in college, you ain't never ready for it. I can just tell you, the way I take that back, there's no preparation for it. The preparation is you got to work with good people. So when you get your chance, you basically go off of what you've done and who you've worked for, you know, because when you slide over 18 inches in college, it's, man, it's hard to put into words. It's hard because, you know, you're just like, you're going from a suggestion maker to a decision maker.
Definitely.
And the other thing you're going to is, you know, a lot of times when you're an assistant, it's like your eyes are on recruiting and coaching. You know, well, when you're a head coach, for example, you're making the decision on, are we flying to Huntsville or are we taking a bus? You're making the decision on how many hours guys are in study hall. You're making the final decision on your equipment. You know, you're making, do you keep walk-ons? You know, you have to be the master of multiple tasks when you're the head coach. And that's not easy.
I hear that, Coach, and I can tell you are a teacher because I got to watch you Tennessee State coach your guys on and off the floor. I can see how you relate to your young men, that you are a teacher. Hell, you've even taught me stuff, and I'm in my 30s. So I know you're a teacher.
I'm just old, man. I'm just old. That's all that is.
Hey, your wisdom is
So,
one of a kind, coach. It's one of a kind. And so,
yeah.
where'd you get your desire to teach from? Because I know that's a skill to desire, have a desire to teach others and help others become better. So where'd you acquire that skill from?
That's a good question. I think what that is it's the effect your coaches have had on you. Like it kind of depends on who you played for when you were coming up and who you worked for. And um, like I love studying the game. I love teaching the game. Like, so when I watch a game, I really watch it from a couple different perspectives. Um, I'm watching it from an X's and O perspective of what's going on the floor. And then I'm watching it from a skill development perspective. I mean, um, I don't know if you can see, but I have like legal pads all over my desk where I study other programs. And so I just want to know what I'm talking about, because the one thing about kids, if they know, they'll know. If you don't know, I can assure you, they if you don't know what you're teaching and doing, they'll sniff you out very quickly, and I don't want to ever do that.
Most definitely, coach. And I remember being in your office, the notepads you had, and how you told me you want to get better every day. You study the game, you want to get better at the game every day, learn and do something new every day. And I know you care about the game of basketball, and that's what young men are blessed to have you as a coach, because you know the game. You can help them better their games. And I saw how you helped them, Tajir McCall or Wayne Martin or Chris McAwulu, how those young men told me how much special you were, what the for to them. So I know what you're about, and I feel like having a coach really cares about you during this tough times we're in, right, living in, coach, is a
Yeah.
blessing of the greatest order.
Well, I appreciate that. It's funny because I just before we got on, I just emailed four guys. I'm sorry, I text four players. I text three and emailed one guy four times. So I have four guys that I'm responsible for academically. And the beauty of what's going on is, like, I just sat there and told them, like, I'm ready, let's go. And so um, the key to it is, yeah, is I have to pour myself into their lives academically so I know what's going on in the classroom. So, for example, what I did today was I was like, okay, how many hours are you taking? What classes are you taking? Classes start Wednesday. What classes do you have Wednesday? Which ones do you have Thursday? So, you know, where I'm going with it is, if you're going to help them on the floor, they got to know you care about them off the floor. And one of the things that works for me is really being involved with their academic lives, because it's times have changed. And Makawulu would tell you, I used to bring him in the office all the time, and I'd always say, Mek, how we doing in these classes? And and if Mekawulu would say, Coach, everything is good. Yeah, I'd say, oh, okay, all right. So but yeah, that's a big part of it for sure.
Most definitely. And coach, I feel like you're the way you approach young men, they relate, because you're real. You're not a BSer. Some guys in the
Right.
business who we know are BSers. And
Yeah.
being real with a young person helps them understand and relate, because if they know you're being real and really do care and have their back, you're not telling them numbers to tell them something, they will fight and go hard for you no matter what.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. I mean, one of the things, like for example, what you say and how you say it. So, for example, one of the things I did today is I just said I'm all in. Like with each guy, I was talking to him academically, but my message was I'm all in with you in the classroom. And so what I'm saying to them is, like, I need to know everything that's going on, because at the end of the day now, they're for example, 4 guys I'm responsible for, and part of my job responsibility, and it's people, they don't understand, boss man. Like I literally, I have to know every assignment that's due in every class, and then I have to know whether or not they turned it in on time, and then I have to know what kind of grade they got, and I do that the entire semester. And especially right now, it's really, really tough because, you know, and I'm dealing with 4 guys, and that wears me out. So I'm sitting there. So for example, if they have a paper due on Friday, I'm texting them on Wednesday, and I'm going, now you have a paper due Friday. All right, do you have it done yet?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be like, well, coach, I'm working on it. And I'm like, all right, it's due Friday. So the beauty of Blackboard is I can see when they submitted it. So when I see that they submitted it, it tells me whether or not they're getting their work in. And then I also can see what their grade is. One of the things I learned a long time ago is a roundabout near, like, it all means less than. Like when you say to a kid and you say, what kind of grade did you get on that test? And they say, well, coach, I got about an 80. That means they got a 74.
Yeah.
It's never worked out the other way. That's just common sense. It's like, so, because see, I even did that with guys. I used to make them write down their grade, but now I can actually see their grade.
Yes, indeed.
know, so, but yeah, that's something that, trust me, that's something that, I worry about it because it's a lot of responsibility, to be honest with you. And, you know, they have to learn to compete in the classroom. And that's the skill that's acquired. It's something that if they think that I don't care about what they're doing in the classroom, they're not going to be as serious about it. And so I have to, like, this is a thing in business with if it matters to you, it's going to matter to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's very big. So right now I'm doing one thing right now I'm letting them know that what they're doing in the classroom matters to me, because I'm reporting to Coach Jones. It matters to Coach. And so I'm going to make sure he's not blindsided. I'm going to make sure he knows. And he does. He cares about him academically for sure.
Most definitely. And coach, you're so right, because even in the radio business, like you said, when I push an issue on something, they know it's real. If I just
Yeah.
kind of mention it and glancing on it, he mustn't really mean it. But like you said, when I really
Yeah.
push the issue, they know, oh,
That's right.
JR cares about this topic. We might need to take this more seriously because he really cares about it. So you're so right about that, coach. That example works in every walk of life here. If you really care about it, you'll show it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I heard it just explained the other day. It was just a different term, and it was something, but the term was, you have to show them that it matters to you. And then when you're in any type of leadership position, that's true. So makes my life tougher, you know, because I want to sit there and, I care about, I care about them on the floor, off the floor, the whole deal, so.
Most definitely. And coach, all the guys you coached in your career, man, and I'm sure you have a vast network of people who you still keep in contact with. How happy are you when you see your young men you've coached become successful husbands and fathers and players overseas and be successful? I know this makes you feel good knowing you played a little bit or played a little role in those young men blossoming into who they are in their 20s and 30s and 40s.
Well, the one thing about it is, if they don't ever come back, then you didn't have a big enough impact in their life. And, I think the thing that you just said that's really important, I didn't realize it maybe 20 years ago. I was on a Zoom Monday night, and there were 5 former players on there that I coached um, in the early 90s. They were like, "What's up, coach?" You know what I mean? And so that was great. And so one of the things that I say now is, or when I used to say this when I was the head coach at Winthrop, I used to say, don't come to Winthrop if you don't want me knowing who your girlfriend is. Don't come to Winthrop because I'm coming to your wedding, whether you invite me or not. You know what I mean? And so, like, I just think that where I'm going with it is if someone attends Texas Southern with Coach Jones, this isn't a college decision. This is a life decision.
Most definitely.
If someone, like at Tennessee State when I was there, if we're recruiting you, this is a life decision, even if when we both leave. You know what I mean? So I think that's the way you have to approach it. And, um, you stay in touch with some guys more than others, but like Makawulu, like his first job, like I helped Makawulu get his agent. Like his second job, he just got a major raise in salary. I helped him, like decide. Like he called me and he said, "What should I do?" And I talked him through what my thoughts were. He made the final decision, but that stuff's important because um, like with these guys, like we have, like that's part of the job responsibility. If you only care about them, then if you only care about them when you coach them for 4 years, and you're in the wrong business. I'll put it to you like that. You need to get out and do something else because that's not fair to them. It's not. It is not fair. It's not.
You got that right, and I feel like for me, coaches I've had in my life, and I've known those people I'm closest to today. When I need advice, I talk to people that have just coached me or helped mold
Yeah.
me as a young man because they know me when I was up and coming. When I wasn't Jr. the boss man, I was just Jr. And knew me before all this I've been blessed with. So they know how to reach that point of me and get underneath my skin and get to that core to get me to see stuff. So like you said, if they don't care about you as a whole in your whole life, you're right. And this business is not for them, coach. Not at all.
It's not one of the things that I think, you said something, and I'm glad, I'm glad I come across to you that way because, but like, you said earlier, you said, "Coach, I think you're a teacher," and that means a lot to me because that's how I approach my job. I don't have all the answers, but the one thing I know that is goes to what you just said is I know this about Randy Peele. I'm a life I'm a life learner. I'm a life learner. So I'm constantly trying to learn right now, like every day, like I'm trying to learn more than what I knew yesterday. Now the beauty of it is I have a plan in place in terms of how I'm going about it. Like I'm just not saying it and not living it. Like I don't ever want to be that person. If I'm telling you I'm doing something, then I'm going to be doing it.
Most definitely.
And so like I'm reading, and it's deep stuff now. Like it's stuff that's deep to me. You know, like so like, and I don't want to veer off, but like, so one of the things I'm doing is, and I heard this like from Kevin Eastman, and so I'm doing it right. So this just goes to show you. So I don't know if you can see this, but
We
this
can.
is, you see that?
Yeah, we can see it.
That's 7 buckets. So one of the things I try to do, I talked to my daughter about this yesterday. I have 7 buckets, and I'm trying to drop something into every one of those buckets every day.
Got
Now,
you.
now this just works for me, right? Everybody's different. So, for example, one of the buckets is family. So you got to choose your bucket. So every day you're dropping stuff into your family bucket. All right. You're dropping stuff into your work bucket. Okay. Now, this is where you really got to get So now for me is faith. Am I
Mm-hmm.
dropping stuff into my bucket every day that's got faith on it? That might be prayer, right? Well, I know I am because over here I got I got Proverbs right there. You see that?
I sure do.
So now Proverbs, right? I had a guy tell me yesterday, he goes, Coach, you told me a year ago. I had forgot I told him this. He said, every day, whatever day it is, I read Proverbs of that day. Well, I'm back at it. So today's the 14th. So I'm gonna read Proverbs chapter 14 today.
That's
Tomorrow I'm gonna read Proverbs chapter 15. That helps me put it in my faith bucket. You know what I mean?
most definitely.
Exercise, exercise. Look, I can show you, I got a 10-inch scar. And so, like, I'm, Tennessee State, you go and eat fried chicken Wednesday, you in trouble. You go get catfish and spaghetti on Friday, man. those, arteries, those arteries are getting clogged. I'm
You
just
got that
telling you.
right.
So, so my method is I'm trying to get 10,000 steps 5 days a week. It's almost 5 miles. Um, think time, like I think, and this is my hardest one, like trying to take an hour out of your day to think. I'm not doing that, but you know, I'm trying to, and that would be under meditation. And then the other thing is reading. So I'm reading 2 books. There's 2 books I'm fascinated with right now.
Okay.
Now, okay, and I'm gonna be honest with you, like when I tell you, man, they'll motivate the socks off you. Okay. So there's this guy, and his name is Damon West. You ever heard of him?
I have.
There it is right there. Damon West.
The
Okay.
change agent.
Huh?
The change agent.
Yes, sir. And if anybody says that, they know what's up. And look, there's book number 2, Training Day, training camp with John Gordon. So, like, man, the change agent, that gives me goosebumps. You know what I mean? Me goosebumps. The story on the change agent is this guy played college football. Long story short, JR got sentenced to 65 years in prison. He became a meth addict.
Wow.
You read about this dude?
I've heard about
He's
him.
got
I heard a story about him, how a guy named Mr. Jackson told him not to. You definitely get involved in all those gangs.
on it.
You know, and he got beat up, but he never joined the gang. He promised his mama he won't get any tattoos. We're gonna join any gangs. He got out of there. Now look at him.
It brings me to tears. I've looked at it on YouTube, and so he became a meth addict. But Mr. Jackson taught him about prison, and prison is boiling water. Well, life right now is boiling water. But now here's the biggest. There's a couple things. Number one, he said, you're not going to win all your fights, but you got to fight them all. That's what Mr. Jackson told him, because he told him, don't join a gang. All right. So that was big, right? You tell him when you go to prison, you're in God's gang. He told him that. Okay. But the other thing he said was, the thing is, you got to be a change agent. But what he's saying is, man, it's all about being positive in your approach.
Most
And
definitely.
So his thing was, if you drop a carrot into boiling water, that carrot, before you drop it in, it's hard. It's hard to the world. It doesn't have any feeling for nothing. Well, when you drop that carrot in water, boiling water, it becomes soft.
Mm-hmm.
Do not be the carrot, because soft is not good. All right. Like if it's just not good. If you take an egg and pull in boiling water, it becomes hard. Well, what that means is now you've shut everything out. You're hard. You're not listening. You're not loving. You don't feel for people. None of that. But a coffee bean, when you put a coffee bean in water, the water now all of a sudden it's changed. It's called a drink, coffee.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole message is be a coffee bean, be an agent of change. Be somebody that's like 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 I'm talking about big time positive, and that's the way you got to be. None of us are perfect, but for me that resonates. Like I'm gonna be a coffee bean. I'm telling you, like I am gonna be a coffee bean.
And I'll share with listeners here. Uh, if y'all remember when I got fired a few years ago for a while, Coach Peele helped me out a lot. I sat in your office that day for about 2 hours. We talked about that, and you helped get me through that hard time, that dark place I had when I lost my job for a while there. And you, a lot of people don't know this, but you really helped me out. I'll tell you to listen right now. Coach Peele, honestly, helped refocus me past that bad and negative in my life and help get me through that. And Coach, I told you before, but I do thank you for that because I needed your ear that day, those 2 hours, and you gave it to me. And I wasn't one of your players, but I was, but you still gave me that time just as a great guy and helped get me through a hard time in my life. And I thank you for that to this day because you really did help me that day.
That means a lot, man. We all been through it. I mean, you are who you are when adversity strikes, and that's who we are as people. And I believe that. Nobody ever told me that. That's just something I made up because I knew when I was the head coach at Winthrop, people were climbing down my back. We went to 2 titles, and I can remember, you know, people will quit on you. People will doubt you. People will talk about you. And so um, when the going gets tough, that's the measure of a man. I promise you. And so I'm glad I helped because you fought. I mean, I saw it in your eye. I mean, I knew you were coming out of it, and we all go through it. It's part of life.
Mm-hmm.
We all experience it, and going through a situation where the odds are stacked against us. Everybody's telling us what we can't do, and so how we come through during those moments, I just I think it speaks volumes, to you what you did. That was incredible. And look at you now. And you got your OG, you in your OG mode right now.
Most
So I see
definitely.
you. Yeah, I
Most
see
definitely,
you.
because yeah, I mean, like you said, Coach, I attacked that adversity. I got through it. Now I'm in a better spot than I was then in 16.
That's right.
So, and I said, I still tell people, I said, you really helped me. Like a lot of people don't know that, but it was you. If talking to you for 2 hours that day really helped refocus my attack mode and get through this because it was hard. That was a ton of bricks. I love what I was doing at the time, and boom, just let me go like I was nothing. And, to feel that way, but to get through it, man, was just the feeling was just great. Now the where I'm at, where I'm at now, when I'm blessed and highly favored.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's awesome, man. I'm so happy for you. And you're in a perfect city. You're like in your element, if that makes sense. Like you being in Atlanta and doing what you're doing, making a change and then taking a stand and sharing a message that you're doing. I just think it's incredible.
And
I
coach,
commend you.
and coach, what's great about his coaches to being here in the city of Atlanta that I've been afforded a platform, from Chattanooga all the way down to Macon, to use my show for good and to be in
Yeah,
control of my own show at 33 years old. That I control what happens here. I have sponsors, but at the end of the
yeah,
day, JR determines what gets on the air and what I cover. And not many guys in my position have that power in this business that I do right now. And number 8 market in the country for its media, and a hub with 5 great schools in D1 as well. All the pro teams here. So, like you said, I'm in the perfect city to make a difference in my community and make a difference for people all over this country.
right. That's right. I believe that. I do too. I hear you. I hear you. Got to make a difference, and like I was, on the HBCU roundtable with Travis. Williams, 2 weeks ago when we were talking about stuff. And I just said to Travis, I said, talk is cheap, man. Talk is cheap. It's like, what are we going to do? Well, what are you going to do in life? What are we going to do? And so in this world, man, we really need leadership bad, like bad. And especially our youth. Our youth need people that can guide them and help them to mature and grow. Like I told somebody, I said, I said, I'm not getting through COVID. I'm growing through COVID. I can assure you. I like, there ain't no, and another thing is, and this is something you've never heard me say this like this, but when people use the word sacrifice, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've changed my definition of that, because sacrifice, it was like, it's like, what are you giving up? When people think of sacrifice, they think, what are you giving up in order to do that? So I don't believe that anymore. Sacrifice to me means, what are you doing for?
Mm-hmm.
It's not, what am I giving up? Sacrifice is, what am I doing for somebody? What am I doing for a cause? Not what I'm giving up. Because to me, that's like, are you defending the title? No, not defending the title. We're going to win another one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm not defending anything. You know what I'm saying? And so, but that really struck me when I heard that. And then um, it was like on a staff. I heard somebody, and it really, like you said something about being a head. One of the keys to head coach is having a great staff. One of the keys to having a great staff is being in alignment. Like I learned that now. Like, like if your staff's not in alignment, they're not a great staff.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not. Well, another thing that I heard recently, and I really believe is, and like I'm talking with you. I don't want you to think like I'm out here, but like, is your staff egoless?
Most
I
definitely.
know that I know the great staffs that I've been a part of, man, and what I'm on right now. There's no ego, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, you can be on a staff and there's too many egos.
Most definitely.
It's too many. I said something to Sean Walker the other day, and it's just something, and he thought it got the biggest kick out of it. And it's like, it's just normal for me. I said, Sean, I said, we, ours, and us replaces I, me, and mine. I'm
Most definitely.
always leery when I keep hearing I, me, me, me. I want to hear we,
Most
our.
definitely.
That's the verbiage I kind of, that I, you know what I'm saying?
Most
So,
definitely. Most definitely, coach. And you're so right about that. And I feel like, young men have to learn that, because a lot of these guys, before they come to your schools, or they're man on their AAU teams, they're man on their high school team, they have to learn to give
yeah.
up something of themselves for the betterment of the team, whether it be come off the bench here, or be just being a rebounder, being a 3-and-D guy, setting picks, or being an energy guy. So yeah, this is a great. Basketball and sports teaches young men the word sacrifice. What are you going to give up for your team as your definition as coach? Because I feel like the sports we love helps
Mhm.
mold young men, because they don't help mold me for life. Helps mold them for life to be better men, like we talked about earlier. Because
That's right.
if you're about us, we, and ours, you can't go wrong,
Mhm.
because we're all a collective one together for a common goal to win.
That's right. The great the you don't know it. I don't know if that's the right word, but like, the one thing that I've learned through coaching is, and my wife is great. She's working, and I talked to her about two things, a lot. I'll talk to her about leadership. Like, when I watch business, when I watch people in the business world, what I look at now is their leadership, and the other thing I look at is, what kind of team are they? you know and so when I'm around leaders, like when I watch Coach Krzyzewski in practice when I was a young coach. I remember coming out of there and I said something to somebody I was with, and it was kind of taken in a way that I don't know that I got the message across. But one of the things that, for example, that Coach Jones does a great job of, Coach Jones builds teams. And what I mean by that is the collection of the sum of our team is greater than the individual pieces. And like, you can have more talent than me, but if our team is a better team than yours, we'll beat you. You know what I mean? And what that means is it means accepting roles, and it means
Definitely.
being a superstar within your role. When I look at it, man, one of the biggest injustices that I see going on, and that's the wrong word, but one of the biggest thing that bothers me is when people are in an organization and they're not on the same team, when the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing. You have a group in Atlanta that's one of the best I've ever seen. I will tell you this. I went to the Nation of Coaches Clinic at Chick-fil-A and their headquarters in Atlanta. It was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in my lifetime. Like, everybody knows the mission that's working for Chick-fil-A.
Most
It's like
definitely.
it's like clockwork. I've been in there and I'll say, "What's your mission statement?" Every one of them, every one of them knows what it is, and that's I'm just something that's big on that. Um, so we'll see.
You got that right, coach. And like you said, being and having that symmetry is so important. And being in the NBA, I see a lot of teams that are disjointed who are on the same page. And you can see the
Oh,
tension and dissension amongst guys and amongst front office versus down on the coaches. So you're right. If you're not aligned from top to bottom, right hand, left hand together, you can't win. And the
yeah,
teams who don't win in NBA are usually the ones who are very disjointed. And you see it during pregame and shoot arounds and post game for sure.
it's amazing that you're saying that, because I had this discussion Monday, and man, that is amazing. So if you're sitting there, I had this discussion. I promise you, Monday. What makes a great staff? Like, and what I mean by that, let's say you're in the NBA. So the one thing I know is I do believe number one is alignment. I believe that everybody has to be working for the same goal. And what I mean by that, like as an assistant, my job is to make Coach Jones's job easier. My job is to help us win. That's what my on the floor. That's what my job is. And so now where it gets tricky is the second two. I heard some people have said belief, like AB, like assistant coach. I'm using the word assistance, but I don't mean it literally. Believing in each other. Okay, so for me, and like this is the kind of stuff like I believe that needs to be discussed. For me, it was trust.
Most
So if
definitely.
A is alignment, B for me is trust. And he goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, like trusting each other. If you got an MBA and you got three or four different, they got to, coaches or staff members, they got to trust each other." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, like I'm talking like this. In organizations, I see stuff like this. Well, I recruited him,
Mm-hmm.
or I signed him. No, we all signed him, or I got coach's ear. No, we coaches, we're a team. Like where guys aren't maybe working together, um, like like people are vying for the president's ear. They want his ear. And to me, part of the things that's successful is if we have a team, like I trust you. We're on the same team. You trust me. I know your family situation. You know mine. You know where I came from. I know where you came from. We trust each other.
Most
Somebody
definitely.
says something about you, I'm like, nope, I got his back. Like, that's my guy. And then the last one for me is, and like what I'm saying is like there's internal competition. Guys are competing against guys on their own team. Look, I'm trying to beat the other team. I ain't the enemy. The enemy's outside this room, not
Got
inside
that
this
right.
room, you know. And then the last one for me, and you know, I'd love for you to chop it up. The last one for me is communication, man. Like
Most definitely.
I just
Communication.
communication, like, and what I mean by that is like to me, I'm on, like, let's say I'm on a staff and I'm like, I go into my buddy's room and say, man, I think that guy can play. You think he can play? You know, and we're being real with each other. And if he doesn't, I want him to tell me. You know, like, man, RP, I don't know if he's good enough. And I'm like, okay, well, why not? You know what I mean? Like to me, in any organization, you know, you got to have great communication. And so, like, I learned something from Coach Jones, and like I learned something like in leadership, right? This is big. Like what I'm going to say is on my heart right now is big. I see it in my wife's company. So part of the thing for leadership is if you are a leader, I think one of the things that constantly is an emphasis is what should we be saying and how should we be saying it? If I'm the president of a company and we work together, and if you're not performing at the highest level, then why is that?
Exactly.
If you're a player with the Hawks and you're not performing at the highest level that you're capable of performing, why is that? Well, am I saying the right things to you? And then the next thing is, how am I saying it?
Most definitely.
Like, I can't sit there and say you, like, it's a difference saying, man, you ain't worth two beans versus we need a better effort from you in these two areas. I just think,
It's all delivery. It's all
yes, yeah.
delivery.
But then it gets down to community, it gets down to relationships, man.
Most
Like,
definitely.
you know, like I'm running through a wall, you know, like I'm running through a wall for Coach Jones. I'm the shield. I'm taking the bullet. He ain't taking the bullet. You know, I'll take that bullet. You know, but like I just think, you know, like in any successful organization, you just watch body language and it tells you everything about relationships. You know, um, you watch them during times of adversity and it tells you what kind of men they are, and it tells you what kind of teammates they are. Because when adversity hits, the people shatter, you know, and the great teams don't. They stay together. You know, they rebound from it. You know, and so I don't know. That's kind of the stuff I've been into, like with all this going on with COVID, is like, you know, like trying to reach out to the guy, like guys on the team today. Like I'm reaching out. How are you doing? You know, we start class next week. You ready? You know, I'm ready. Are you ready? You know what I mean? That's
Most
the kind
definitely.
of, so we're in leadership position, man. We're it ain't about a basketball all the time. It's about, you know, when I get back, I swear one of the things I want to do is you'll laugh at me. You'll think it's corny. All right. But one of the things I want to do is I want to take the basketball and I want to deflate it and I want to sit it on my desk with no air in it. That's what I want to do. And my message is, what are you going to do when that ball stops bouncing?
Most
When the
definitely.
air is out of that ball, because let's be real, it's coming out for all of us. Are you ready? And you said it. See, you said it earlier tonight. What kind of husband are you? What kind of father? You know, like, are we? Like my thing is, man, we got to prepare these guys for when they walk out. This is a tough world out there,
Most
you
definitely.
know. And so we got to help people be ready, and it's not going to be easy.
And coach, I got two more for you, coach, before we get out of here. How has your transition been to Houston? I know it's a great city, third ward, where it said you got Houston down the street from you guys, and Jack Yates High School in the area. How's Houston been treating you? How's it like moving from Nashville to Houston there?
It's Houston is a great city. It is. It's a great city. It's the fourth largest city in the United States. Um, I mean, look, I had quadruple bypass surgery. I was in a hospital for 11 days. Okay. And you know what? My wife will tell you Houston is the number one city in America and for producing doctors. So, like, you have like St. Luke's Medical Center. That's where I was for 11 days. I had one of the greatest heart surgeons in America. So, where I'm going with it is Houston is a city of diversity. Like, if you don't like diversity, don't go to Houston because Houston is a city of diversity. Uh, I like that. You know, the stuff you'll laugh at, like what makes Houston, and it's weird because here's what Houston's about business wise. It's about oil and it's about energy, flat out. Now I'll put real estate in there. So what I'm talking about is you always pay attention to the price of gas when you're in Houston.
Most definitely.
Okay. There's so many people living there. There's so many different energy companies that blows you away. So I have the best of both worlds. The food in Nashville is great. I'm not gonna lie to you, but man, you talking a whole new ball game. Like you talking like you like we're in the final eight of the playoffs is what I'm saying now.
I hear you.
Okay, so when you go to Houston, number one, like look, that's one of the reasons I had a heart attack. Like I don't mess with soul food in Houston no more because soul food in Houston, like oxtails. You ever had oxtails before?
Nah, I haven't, coach. I haven't, to be honest.
And see, that white dude talking to you about oxtails. And so oxtails and gizzards and gravy and I mean, like it's out of this world. I ain't doing that no more. But like the restaurants, like Mexican food in Houston, bro, you ain't at Taco Bell. Okay, you're
Wow.
talking a whole like it's called Papacito's Cantina. It's the best Mexican food in the world. The steak plate is the best in the world. Um, so it's hot now. The heat in Houston, like right now in Houston, are you talking August heat? You like it's cranking.
I
And
can
I'm just
believe it.
telling you, it's cranking. And like that was the first thing. Like man, when I would walk out in July and August, that heat, like winter is mild. Like I haven't worn a winter coat in 2 years in
Wow.
Houston. All I wear is my warm up. That's what I wear. It's
Wow.
just the weather's great. It's different than the rest of the world. In the rest of the United States, when it hits summer, everybody's trying to go out. In Houston, everybody's trying to stay in. But now when September hits, everybody's going in, everybody's going out in Houston. Like in September, October, November. I mean, but the weather's really nice. People are very friendly. They love their football. There's so many players in the state of Texas in basketball. It's insane.
Wow.
It's so big. So yeah, it's a great city. It is. It's been good to me and my wife for sure.
That's what I got for you, coach. What is your fondest memory of coaching in Atlanta or coming here for recruiting or an event? What's your fondest memory coming here today to the ATL?
Man, that's a great question. That is a great question. Um, Wow. That's a loaded question. I think my thing, Atlanta is like Houston in the sense of the biggest thing that I can say is, so when I was at Winthrop, I was a head coach at Winthrop, and I've recruited North Carolina. I mean, I've recruited a lot of places, North Carolina, South Carolina, and I really got deep into Florida. But the one thing that I tried to do in Atlanta is I tried to basically take the city of Atlanta and almost take a pin in an hour and a half circumference. Like I just felt like from a basketball standpoint, I could I I felt like there were so many the city was so populated that there were so many kids. Like I could go into Atlanta and recruit and not have to beat anybody and come out with a really good player because there were so many people there. Um, I don't know if it's one defining moment. I love the Atlanta's got a Atlanta's got swag, if that makes sense. I mean, like Atlanta is, there's so much energy and there's juice. When you look at Atlanta, like, I mean, people are living a good life in Atlanta. Like, whenever my biggest moments, I would say to my wife, I'd say, I don't know where these people are working, but I want the life they got. Because I would go to the mall, I would go to Buckhead, and I would see people in Buckhead, and I'm like, man, I don't know where they're working, but I need to figure out where it is.
You got
Because,
that right.
I never seen so many people during the day. I mean, you got fine restaurants. The one thing you'll laugh at this, Atlanta's like Houston in this regard. Like, and I'm having fun with this, right? But I would always go to Atlanta, and Larry Dixon would be. I'd say, Larry, man, everybody's got a BMW or a Mercedes in Atlanta. Like I never seen so many nice. Like
You
if you
do.
don't have a nice ride, I mean, you laugh at it, but like everybody had a nice ride in Atlanta.
They do. I feel bad driving the Kia Optima. I feel bad.
I thought that was I thought that was the funniest thing, and I miss it. I miss it, and I'm trying to think. Shoot, I miss not having the Final Four. I mean, my daughter, we already had our rooms locked
It
in.
hurt me that y'all couldn't come down. It hurt me, Coach. I was looking for all y'all in town. I had all kind of plans for me, meet people, and be with the coaches. I had all kind of plans for this Final Four, and it all went straight south on us.
My daughter, we had our own hotel. My daughter had her own Airbnb in Atlanta. She had it booked months in advance. She doesn't do that for other cities. I mean, she had it locked down, but it's a great night. I mean, it's a lot of fun, man. It's it's a melting pot of America, so to speak. It's like New York. It's like the one thing that the great cities have in this country is it's a melting pot. You can, people move to Atlanta to have a better life. People don't leave Atlanta, they move to it. It's the same thing as Houston. People move to Houston to have more opportunity, not less. And that's the same thing with Atlanta. When I went there, it's like nobody's from here.
Guilty as charged.
Everybody I met from Atlanta had moved there.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm a common sense guy, as you can tell, and I figured that out pretty quick. So it was fun.
Well, Coach Peele, it's been good to catch up with you, do this hour with you here on the show. Finally got you on the show, coaches. It's been great. And We got to do this again real soon. It's been so fun having the show and share our stories with each other and share with the listeners what I shared with how you helped me out with my job, man, because people didn't know that it was you. And so I'm glad people now know who helped get me back on the right track. It was you, Coach, for all this time.
I appreciate you, man. I love you, brother, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
All right, Coach, thank you. That's Randy Peele here on the Bossman Show.
Hip-hop fans, I got a great album for you. The debut album from Family Grind ENT, True Speech and 313 Fresh. We're going to give you 2 discs, 33 songs of pure, genuine hip-hop. Album is available on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, illstreetrex.com, and streaming live right now on Rhapsody, Beats Music, Spotify, Xbox Music, Slacker Radio, and SoundCloud. Check them out today. True Speech and 313 Fresh. Family Grind ENT. Believe in it. Get it.
A gorgeous tan from Suntan City gives you an inner glow that relights the fire when you run into your first crush.
Vicky, who was that?
An old boyfriend.
Lucky you just tanned at Suntan City.
Lucky he's single. We're doing lunch tomorrow.
Won't be single for long then.
During Tour of the City, try all 5 tans, including spray tan, for just $4.99. Restrictions may apply. Click to buy now.
When you're a teen, you finally get to make some of your own decisions. Who are you going to hang out with? What do you want to be? Are you going to glance at that text while driving? Remember, a split second is all it takes for something tragic to happen. Be in the zone. Turn off your phone. Visit childrenshospital.vanderbilt.org/BITZ to learn more about our teen driver safety program. Brought to you by Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt, the Ford Motor Company Fund, and the Allstate Foundation.
It's maybe the night that my dreams might let me know. All the stars are closer. All the stars are closer.
Tell me what you gonna do to me. Confrontation ain't nothing new to me. You could bring a bullet, bring a sword, bring a morgue, but you can't bring the truth to me.
Alexa, play Kendrick Lamar and SZA.
Okay. Maybe the night that my dreams might let me know. All the stars are closer.
With Amazon Music, a voice is all you need. Get tens of millions of songs. Download the Amazon Music app today.
Yeah, it's your man JC, the host with the most, baby, and it goes down each and every Saturday night right here in the city of Memphis. That's right, y'all. It goes down at Clicks Sports Bar Memphis, baby. 3705 Malco Way, Memphis, Tennessee, 38125. Come out and join us, the Three Kings, each and every Saturday night for the livest karaoke in the city. Everybody gets in free till 10 p.m. Only $5 after. Great food. We got drink specials. We got all kind of games, man. We got the pool tables popping. Whatever you want, we got you, man. Come on out. Have a good time with us each and every Saturday night. That's Clicks Sports Bar, Memphis.